We're in Seattle, Washington. First round action from the Tempe Regional. Illinois State, just the third team ever to make the tourney with a losing record, taking on Big 12 regular season and tournament champion Baylor. Dave Revson and former Wisconsin coach Mary Murphy. Rob Stone joins us in a bit. Winner of this one gets the winner of TCU and Oregon. That game is after this one here at Bank One Arena. Top half of the bracket being played tonight in Minneapolis. Some intriguing players in our Star Watch, Mary.
Jackie McCormick for Illinois State hit the huge game-winning shot in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, but she is under the weather. Sophia Young, already an All-American. She's a finalist for every major individual award this season.
McCormick, a Nez Perce Indian, grew up on a reservation in Idaho. Been battling flu-like symptoms. Rob Stone will have more on that in a moment. He'll also have more on Young, an intriguing player as well, native of St. Vincent in the West Indies. Had never played organized basketball until she was 15, and she has turned into an All-American, one of the most dominant players in the country, and she wins the opening tip, and Baylor has the ball in the person of Chelsea Whitaker.
Illinois State, so important for them to play defense early and make Baylor have to work for shots.
Baylor in the white, Illinois State in the red. A jumper on the way, and good. That's Shamika Scott hitting the three.
And one of the reasons Baylor is such a dynamic team that's going to contend for the tournament championship, they've got the inside-out game.
They most certainly do. As a foul there on Abiola Wabara, her first. Rest of the lineups for the Redbirds, Katie Donovan, the other player to watch. She led the Missouri Valley in scoring last season. And in addition to Young, keep an eye on Stephanie Blackman for the Lady Bears. Texas Tech's Marcia Sharp said they may be the best post tandem in the history of college basketball.
And Marcia Sharp's seen a lot of basketball. It's quite a compliment.
Hericus chases down the miss, and now that's McCormick with her first attempt. She misses it. Sophia Young the rebound.
I'm sure Illinois State's just happy to see her out on the floor shooting the basketball, which she does so well, close to 40%.
She has a huge contingent here. Her home about 6 hours from here in Idaho. As Sophia Young gets her first two.
And the ability of the bigs for Baylor to move around, high post, low post, baby baseline, really makes them almost unstoppable.
Redbirds in their first NCAA tournament in 16 years. Baylor hasn't lost since January the 22nd. They are riding a school record 14-game winning streak. Shot clock down under 10. McCracken misses the pull-up. Battle for the rebound, and it's going to go out of bounds. It's going to stay with Illinois State.
It's those kind of hustle plays that Illinois State's going to need, especially the first 4-minute segment until there's that TV timeout where they can really just settle down and get into this basketball game.
So McCracken inbounds. It's Katie Donovan. And Donovan called for the walk. Let's go to Rob Stone.
You guys, we talked about the flu symptoms that hit 2 starters for Illinois State just last night. Holly Hallstrom, Jackie McCormick up all night, unable to keep any food down. Hallstrom, the lucky one. They hooked her up to an IV during warm-up today. She was able to take part in some of practice. Not so for McCormick. She was so dehydrated, they could not find a vein to hook the IV up to. Things got worse. They had to send an assistant up into the concession row to try and buy a pretzel for her to help get some food into her system.
Wow.
Not your best pregame meal, a pretzel and no water.
Thanks, Rob. So obviously we'll keep an eye on how both those players play for Illinois State. And this is really going around because Vanderbilt's had some problems as well as Stephanie Blackman hits the first free throw.
Vanderbilt actually left a player at home. The doctors advised them not to travel. She was the last player on their team to get the flu, so it certainly has been going around. Early timeout by Illinois State. Not the kind of start they wanted, 7-0, and really offensively, Baylor's been able to do just about whatever they've wanted.
Now, this is a Baylor team, as we talked about, they're so dominant inside, but what makes them doubly dangerous is, oh, by the way, they're second in the nation in three-point percentage. So this, Mary, a team that can beat you really in both ways, and one of the issues for Baylor had been whether or not they deserved the #1 seed. They're the dark horse for a lot of people to make it to the Final Four.
Well, I picked them in my Final Four, and I've actually picked them to win the national championship, and the reason is they are so dynamic with the postgame Marcia Sharp talked about, but they shoot that 40% from three-point range, so they've got the inside-out game. They play tremendous defense. They have a very good point guard that Kim Mulkey-Robertson, who should know what point guards can do, feels is playing as well as anybody in the country. It all adds up. to a really tough team.
Kim Mulkey-Robinson, former point guard for Louisiana Tech, led them to a 130-6 mark in her 4 years at Louisiana Tech. One of the all-time greats in women's basketball. Has done an incredible job at Baylor as Donovan misses the jumper, some contact underneath, and it's going to be a foul on Illinois State.
Illinois State, a team that loves to shoot the three-point shot, and they had much better movement offensively that possession coming out of the timeout.
Foul goes on Holly Hallstrom, her first.
Illinois State just staying tight in that zone and trying to take away everything in the paint.
Well, they nearly got a turnover there, but instead it turns into another 2 for Stephanie Blackman.
Did a nice job doubling early, but just could not secure the loose ball.
4 points early for Blackman. Baylor on top 9-0. This is Jackie McCormick. Leaves that one well short. She felt she may have gotten fouled, but it will go to the Bears as Emily Neiman, their three-point specialist, checks in.
Well, what a tough shot that was. She's not feeling great. She's got Whitaker, one of the best defenders on her. She stepped out to about 22 feet in the 5'9" arms of Whitaker right in her face.
This is Chelsea Whitaker, transfer from the University of Virginia. She wears number 2. 45 is Stephanie Blackman. Now Whitaker with the jumper that doesn't go. And the rebound to the Redbirds, Katie Donovan. Hericus going to try the 3, and that one's well off the mark. And Whitaker gets the rebound. The first 3 Hericus had tried all year. Whitaker to the hoop and lays it in.
And the cardinal rule of transition defense, stop the basketball. Illinois State just fans out, guards everybody but Whitaker, and it's just a layup.
So 11-0 early for Baylor. In action in the Tempe Regional. Turnaround left well short there by Holly Hallstrom, the other player who's been battling the flu-like symptoms. Illinois State now 0 of 7 from the field. This is Shamika Scott. Knocked away inside. And then they turn it over. Neiman with the steal. Nice pass down in on the blocks. And Wabaro lays it in.
And another timeout by Illinois State.
13-0.
And the fast break by Whitaker, just pushing. No one stops ball. She reads it. Little hesitation. She's waiting for someone to guard her and just takes it coast to coast. A little battle for the ball. Blackman moving so well without the basketball. Finds a seam on the baseline. And a nice feed by Neiman.
6 now for Stephanie Blackman. 13-0. Now, obviously, there is a talent disparity here, Mary, but is there anything that that Illinois State can do to stem the tide against Kim Mulkey-Robinson's team?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very challenging. 2 of your best players are not feeling 100%, and if everyone's 100%, you're still climbing a big mountain. This is David and Goliath. There's no doubt about it. Baylor is on a mission, and they don't care who they're playing today. They're going to come out of the gates hard.
Remember, Baylor, the controversial loss last year in the Sweet 16 by 2 to Tennessee. Lady Vols won on a foul call that many felt shouldn't have been called with 0.2 seconds left. Baylor players wore t-shirts this year with that .2 on the back, reminding themselves of how their season had ended.
And that's pretty much how they feel about it. It's just something they'll never forget, but certainly focused on what they want to accomplish this year. They've already accomplished an awful lot, winning the regular season championship in the Big 12 for the first time ever, and the tournament championship, so they are on a roll.
That foul was on LaShawn Johnson, the offensive foul for Illinois State. Turns it over to Baylor. Trying to build on a huge lead early on. Sophia Young working on Johnson, and Sophia Young so smooth, hits the pull-up.
It's so smooth. She scored with one person on her. She scores with 2 people on her. And her ability to elevate and get up and over the defense just makes her game.
So it's 15-0. And Shamika Scott gets the steal. Now Scott has it knocked away by McCormick. Neiman inside Young, operating down low, and she's going to the line. She will shoot when we come back. The foul goes on LaShawn Johnson, number 2 for her, as Baylor having its way, to say the least. It's 15-0 over Illinois State. First tourney appearance for them since 2002, highest seed since '83. First tourney appearance in 16 years for Illinois State. not going all that well. They're down 15-0 to Baylor as Sophia Young goes to the free throw line. A fascinating story from St. Vincent in the West Indies. Left her home at age 15, has seen her mother just once since. She played volleyball, track, and a variation of basketball on St. Vincent. Got a scholarship to Evangel Christian in Louisiana. First time she had ever played organized basketball, and she was basically, you want to talk about an under-the-radar recruit. I mean, nobody knew about her, Mary.
It's funny, you talk to Kim Mulkey-Robertson about it, the coach of Baylor, and she'll just say, she was a diamond, we found her, and we're blessed.
Baylor capitalizing on another miscue for Illinois State. Neiman, a great three-point shooter, misses that one. Scott trying to save the rebound, and here come the Redbirds trying to get on the board. Jackie McCormick, again, battling the flu. She's their great star player. She has it knocked away. Amber Shelton is 24. She's checked in. Now McCracken tries to get it inside to Johnson, and it's knocked away as we go to Rob Stone.
Guys, that last time out was strictly a pep talk for Illinois State from their head coach, Robin Pingleton. Her dry erase board, not even touched, no ink on it. The key themes, don't feel sorry for yourself and help each other out.
Our team could certainly use some hoops too. They are 0 of 8, 0 of 6 from behind the arc.
And 6 turnovers have really hurt as well, because the long misses and the turnovers create transition baskets, and Baylor loves to play up-tempo.
Let's see Neiman miss many. She misses that one. Katie Donovan coming the other way. Johnson gets it to go, and the first 2 points come from LaShawn Johnson.
And now you can just relax a little bit and just play some defense. You got that out of the way.
See if that does, in fact, relax the Redbirds a little. Very improbable story. 3 straight wins in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament to get here. Stephanie Blackman having herself a good game. She has 8 early on.
And not just 3 straight wins, but 3 straight wins against teams with 20 victories that really felt like they all had a great shot at making it here, but it was Illinois State was sort of their miracle story this season.
And Illinois State, the 3rd team with a losing record ever to make it into the women's field. Notre Dame did it in '92, Missouri in '94. Neither one of them won a game. McCracken misses the pull-up, knocked away, and it's going to be Baylor ball. As we take a look at how Illinois State got here, the final was fairly dramatic to say the least. Tied with Indiana State at 70, time winding down. That's Jackie McCormick holding, spinning, and hitting, and delirium in Normal, Illinois. Nothing normal about that. It was a crazy moment and a great way to cap off a very improbable run as they beat 321 teams in a span of 45 hours.
It was remarkable. 22-7 Indiana State coming into that game, but McCormick, the star of that ball game, on the bench now, and you just wonder how much time she can really go.
Baylor having its way on the boards after a couple misses. Whitaker. And a 3-second violation goes against the Lady Bears. There is Jackie McCormick, again battling the flu. Native American of the Nez Perce tribe, has about 75 friends and family here. Grew up on a dusty reservation in Idaho, and tell me yesterday just how amazing it is to make it off the res. People don't realize what an accomplishment that is to come and play major college basketball. And she's going to get her degree in sociology and wants to work with Native American children.
Played 2 years on the reservation and then transferred to a high school in Oregon. Played 2 years there, and these fans just so proud that Illinois State's in it and that their girl's in it.
Yeah, an interesting story. Her life kind of changed the summer before her junior year. Several of her friends were involved in the beating death of a 12-year-old boy from a nearby town in Washington. Jackie was appalled when no one came forward in the case. She confronted some of her friends who had been in the car the night of the incident. When they didn't do anything, she went to the police. 2 of the boys ended up in prison, and McCormick was kind of shunned on the reservation. She didn't feel welcome anymore among some of her schoolmates, and so she decided she would head off and live with their family in Oregon.
In Oregon, which is just a couple hours south of Seattle. So people, the family from Oregon's here, folks from the reservation, and just very, very proud of what she's accomplished. They were hoping she could get away and get a college scholarship, and she's accomplished an awful lot at a very young age.
Megan McCracken got called for that foul for Illinois State. Now the Redbirds trying to force the turnover, and they do. It'll be Illinois State basketball. 19-2 Baylor early on, and you can't help but to be impressed with Kim Mulkey-Robertson's team, and especially when you consider this is a team that had never been to the NCAA tournament when she took over 5 years ago. This is their 4th trip in 5 years. I mean, she inherited a 7-20 team, and the next year they're in the tournament.
She's done a positively amazing job, and everyone thought she was going to be the next coach at Louisiana Tech, but no, she took over Baylor, and Illinois State knocks down the big 3, and that's got to feel pretty good for McCracken.
Kraken, a transfer from Iowa State, where Robin Pinchton was an assistant. Followed her here to Illinois State.
Illinois State wanted to travel there.
Wabara gets the hoop. First 2 for Abiola Wabara.
He concentrates so hard on the big 2 inside, and then Wabara comes in, and she just brings special qualities as well, inside and out.
21-5 now, Baylor. This is McCracken, really good shooter. Get her going after the one she hit just moments ago.
Need to continue to work, pop people hard up off screens.
A turnaround, no good there by Holly Hallstrom, who, like McCormick, is battling the effects of that flu bug. Now Emily Neiman.
Nice job in transition defense by the Redbirds. And they're just inviting Whitaker to take that shot.
Gonna lob it inside. Wabara, nice catch, and cannot get it to fall. But the rebound to Blackman, and she can. And Stephanie Blackman in double figures with 10.
If you're Illinois State, there is nothing more you can do. They did a great job of playing the lob, and then all the attention to the lob left Blackman open for the offensive rebound and score.
Katie Donovan working the baseline, nowhere to go. She gets fouled on the way up. So she will shoot some free throws when we come back. Illinois State trying to get back in it, down 23-5. Thanks, Reese. Obviously, the odds very much with the Spartans in that one, as number 16 seeds 1 and 43 all time. The famed win by Harvard over Stanford, the only one.
Everybody forgets about the injury Stanford had that year with Kristen Focal going down with the ACL, Vanessa Nygaard, and what a game by Harvard, though. I was actually there.
Were you?
Yes,
You witnessed the history?
I witnessed the history at Maples Pavilion.
Katie Donovan hits from the free throw line. It's a 23-6 Baylor lead.
How about that?
I didn't know that much.
It was, you know, you kind of knew you were there for history. I'll tell you that much.
So Baylor having its way early on, but now a turnover there by Abiola Wabara. And then McCracken gets called for the travel. Do not forget, you can get complete results from the Women's Basketball Championships, as well as information on future championship sites on NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. We're in the Tempe Regional here, the 2-seed Baylor and the 15-seed Illinois State, and that basically has been the game in a nutshell. Abiola Wabara hitting there. Baylor has had its way inside. They're on top 25-6.
And Young has done a great job. Blackman's done a great job, but Wabara has been outstanding as well.
Is there anything Illinois State can do here differently?
I think the #1 thing they need to do is take care of the basketball and at least get shots at the basket. When you're turning it over against Baylor, it just becomes a track meet and the hole becomes bigger.
Foul on Chanel Fox, who is checked in for Baylor. She wears number 5. First foul on Fox.
Fox, whose career has just been such a struggle, so many different injuries, ACL injuries, and it's just nice to have her back.
She is only a junior athletically, and a 5-second call now on the Redbirds. So actually, it's going to be a foul. I beg your pardon. Be a foul on Illinois State. It's going to go on LaShawn Johnson.
LaShawn Johnson's doing one thing out there, and that's get physical. And she's doing a very nice job of it. She's, you know, drawing some contact and getting the calls on her, but she's going out there trying to make a statement, and I think that's exactly why Coach put her in the ballgame.
That is 3 fouls now on LaShawn Johnson, so she's gotten perhaps a bit too physical, and now she's on the bench. That's what they've got to do, I suppose, in the post.
Well, you've got it. You just cannot allow the Baylor post, the myriad of them, to just let loose and get to their sweet spots.
As Fox misses, we were telling you she has had those major knee reconstructions. She is a junior athletically, but has already graduated from Baylor, working on her graduate degree. As Donovan lets fly with a 3 and misses it. It goes out of bounds off Neiman, so it will stay with the Redbirds.
She's one of those players that has received a 6-year of eligibility from the NCAA, much like Jamie Carey at Texas, because of just the compounding injuries that they've had throughout their career.
Jordan Davis, junior out of Salina, Texas, checks in for Baylor. She wears 22.
She sat out last year, and just a lot of injuries that Baylor's been able to overcome.
Now Heracus. And McCormick for 3, and she got it. First 3 for Jackie McCormick.
That lights the crowd up. A lot of folks coming from the reservation, but also a lot of people coming out from the middle of Illinois. Bloomington Normal.
What's amazing about Jackie McCormick's family, this 6-hour drive is nothing. They drove to the Missouri Valley Conference tournament as Davis misses. That was an 1,800-mile drive.
Yeah, we heard 32 hours. Is that possible?
It is possible, yeah. 1,800 miles. That's a long way.
That's a long time in a car.
I trust they took a couple stops along the way. Megan McCracken. Now the pull-up by Heracus is good.
Excellent pick and pop. Didn't try to take it into the guts. And now it's Kim Mulkey-Robertson taking the timeout as Illinois State crawls within 14. A huge accomplishment for them. McCormick settling out beyond the arc, just waiting and receiving, and that's what the Redbirds need to do. When you're open, Dave, you cannot hesitate against Baylor. Take the shot, little pick and roll, little contact on the roll, little modified roll, pick and pop. Great job by Illinois State.
Well, they've got it back to within 14 as we remind you ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship telecast presented by Avis continues today at 4 Eastern. You will see either UC Santa Barbara take on Notre Dame or Oregon meet TCU. That's the game we will have here in Seattle. It's all in regional action. ESPN, your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And we are, of course, very excited to see Sandora Irvin, the career blocks leader.
Hasn't had a block in 2 games, and we talked to her about that yesterday, and she said, I'll get you some tomorrow.
She did. She guaranteed. It's going to be the called block, like the called shot there. Shamika Scott for 3.
The challenge of playing the zone is if you rotate the basketball, you're bound to find somebody open, and that time it was Scott.
8 games with 3 or more threes this year. Already has 2 in this one. Donovan has it knocked away. Now McCracken.
Scott just following McCormick everywhere she goes. No concept of help side right now as they switch on everything perimeter.
Shot clock down under 10. McCormick bottled up in the corner by Whitaker. She throws it off Whitaker. It's going to be Illinois State ball. They're not going to have a whole lot of time to shoot it, though. It is a 28-11 lead. Baylor on top of the... Illinois State's hit 4 of its last 8 from the field after starting 0 of 8, trying to climb back into it against Baylor. 28-11, Bears on top.
And I like the play by McCormick leading to the timeout, bouncing it off the leg of the Baylor player. You much rather have an opportunity with 4 seconds than no opportunity at all with a turnover.
So 4 seconds to shoot for Illinois State. Let's see what they drew up in the huddle. Heracus holding out top. There's 1 second. They did not get it off. They were trying to work something from McCracken, but just ran out of time.
Yeah, she was trying to run off a couple of staggered screens. It just, when someone's right up in your grill, it takes a little bit longer than it does in practice.
Some frustration there for Robin Pinchton, the Missouri Valley Coach of the Year last season.
This is her first losing season as a head coach.
Very successful NAIA coach at St. Ambrose, which is in Davenport, Iowa. Turnover on Baylor as they step on the baseline.
8 years at St. Ambrose. And 3 years on the staff of Coach Bill Fenley at Iowa State. And what a year the Cyclones have had.
Certainly have. Back in the dance after missing out last year. This is an Illinois State team that went from 7 to 16 wins last year, most improved mark in the country for a first-year coach. A little bit of a disappointment this year, but they have played well when it mattered down the stretch to get themselves to the NCAA tournament. They get an offensive rebound there and a fresh 30 seconds.
And their attitude going into the Missouri Valley tournament was, why not us? And they're taking that into this tournament as well.
Ashley Sandstead, number 12, is checked in. Holly Hallstrom trying to work down low, gets it back now. Sandstead. Again, the shot clock to 10. Now Hallstrom lays it up and in.
And that's what penetration gives you. A little shake off. You got to step up and help by Blackman, and it opened up the pass and the shot inside. Very nicely done.
Comes honestly for Hallstrom, whose father Jim played hoops at Evansville. Foul on the Redbirds. It's going to go against Michelle Herricus. That'll be her second.
They've done a nice job of getting physical with the posts for Baylor. And we talked about it, Dave. You just cannot allow them to camp out in established position. It's just like doomsday if you do.
So Stephanie Blackman to the free throw line. ESPN, the magazine, third-team academic All-American, the first ever for women's hoops at Baylor. Misses the free throw, so Illinois State will get the ball.
We talk about Sophia Young so much and what a great story she is, but Blackman is a tremendous story as well. Her dad's a high school coach. Her brother played at Arkansas, Little Rock, and just an athletic family. She's done a tremendous job at Baylor.
Twin sister also played here, but suffered a career-ending injury at the end of last season. This is McCormick. Tries to get it inside, nearly knocked away.
They like the mismatch down low. Got the switch back, no advantage.
Shot clock once again winding down, and now the turnover. Here comes Shamika Scott. The left wide open. Right there was Angela Tisdale, but she didn't shoot it. Young will shoot, and she'll go to the line. As we remind you tomorrow, tune into ABC and ESPN for exciting NBA action. At 3 Eastern on ABC, Tim Duncan leads San Antonio against the defending champion Pistons, while the division-leading Suns take on Memphis. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Then at 7:30 Eastern, Yao Ming and the Rockets face Kevin Garnett and the T-Wolves on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. As Sophia Young goes back to the line, telling you about her relationship with her parents. She's not been able to see her mom since leaving her home at age 15 in the West Indies. Saw her just one time. Her father, Denniston Young, is a trombonist in a calypso band and also works as a plumber in Brooklyn. He has seen her play, but her mother, Annie Christopher, has never seen her. She went home for 2 weeks after her freshman year, has not seen her mother since.
It's an amazing story, and Kim Mulkey-Robertson, the coach of Baylor, will tell you how much the team comes together to try to be a sense of family for her and to keep her up when she's feeling lonely. But what an adventure she's been on, from the West Indies to Louisiana to Waco, Texas, and eyes looking at a Final Four berth.
Remarkable story. Donovan. Not there. Here comes Baylor the other way. This is Tisdale. Going to take it to the hole, and Tisdale gets fouled on the way up as we check in with Rob Stone.
We further layer that Sophia Young story, and you know, she got that athletic scholarship to Evangel Christian Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana, a school we all know about their great high school football prowess, but she got it in basketball even though she had never played basketball. Dave, you touched on it, the game netball, which is played down on the islands. It's similar to basketball, but no backboard, more players. So this is a young lady who really has less than 5 years of organized basketball experience under her belt. And as you guys said, Baylor was able to catch her under the radar. She's no longer catching anybody under the radar anymore.
Tisdale hits 1 of 2, and as if on cue, Sophia Young gets the rebound. At Baylor, the only school to offer her a scholarship, as Tisdale misses the pull-up, and gets to Sophia Young. She is going back to the stripe.
It's like she has wings sometimes. I mean, the elevation, moving without the basketball, try to box that out. It's impossible. The jumping ability, getting up, gets clobbered. She'll go back to the free throw line, but good gracious. As a coach, you say, get a body, move your feet. You could move your feet all day, you're not catching up.
That's what caught Kim Mulkey-Robertson's attention when she went to see her, the athleticism. The way that it worked is Bo Roberts, an area AAU coach, had been working a bit with her. They bonded, and he helped working her. She was very raw, but he told his daughter, Jennifer, that, you know what, I think she's got so much athleticism, she could turn out to be a prospect. Jennifer is a Baylor assistant, so Kim Mulkey-Robertson went and watched, and that's how they ended up getting her when no one else knew about Sophia Young.
That's what you call having some luck earlier in your first head coaching job. Kim Mulkey-Robertson will certainly admit to that. Wow.
Off the turnover, here comes Tisdale. Now Scott, Young, great ball movement. And which way is it going to go? They're going to call the block.
Textbook fast break. Tisdale gives it up early. Great spacing. Sophia Young comes out to the baby baseline. I mean, it's just beautiful. Everyone's running their lane. You can sort of see Blackman just jogging down the floor, and then she gives this burst right when she needs it. Low to high, comes on down. Just the way you practice it.
As Stephanie Blackman hits the free throw, 11 points now for her. That foul went against Ashley Sandstead. Baylor now in the double bonus, on top by 20. She rolls them both home. 34-13, Baylor on top of Illinois State. Baylor working on a school record 14-game winning streak. McCracken misses the pull-up. And the rebound, it goes to the Bears, but they turn it over in transition. Sandstead.
That's exactly what Illinois State needs to do. Get a couple of easy baskets there where you don't have to work so darn hard every time down.
Abiola Wabara trying to feed the post. It's another foul inside on the Redbirds.
Illinois State had a musical theme for this game. It might be, let's get physical. Physical. Because they are just trying to wrap up Sophia Young. And you can see Young say, what more can I do?
That foul was on Katie Ward, who at 6'7" is the tallest player in Illinois State history. She's number 31, just checked in. Accomplished equestrian as well. Is the Alberta Junior Amateur Show Jumping champion. Native of Calgary. They get a good look at Katie Ward.
Show jumping is really quite the skill to be able to handle a horse and do all the things you need to do. It's really an amazing, amazing sport.
10 points now for Sophia Young as Jackie McCormick, the great star for Illinois State, been battling the flu. Came out just a few minutes before the game and has struggled a bit in this game, just 3 points. As Katie Ward misses the jumper. And now here comes Shamika Scott on the run for Baylor, leaves it for Tisdale. Nice pass to Sophia Young, who gets it to go and draws the foul.
The ability to trail athletic posts who can catch the ball in a crowd and score it. The push by Baylor, and you know their posts are coming. There she is, the foul, the contact, but the effort up and down the floor, knowing the ball will find you. Great job.
Another foul on Katie Ward has picked up 2 quick ones since checking in is Sophia Young. Converts on the 3-point play, and Sophia Young will take a seat. Emily Neiman going to spell her for Baylor.
Sophia Young has really hurt Illinois State in transition. Illinois State just rotating one back, Dave, and you wonder if they need to make an adjustment. You know, you're maybe not going to get a whole lot of second and third shots, but just get everybody back so you're not getting beat on those 2-on-1, 3-on-2 situations.
We'll see if Illinois State does indeed make that adjustment. Now 38-15 as this has been all Baylor from the get-go. Sandstead missing. The rebound to Blackman. Here come the Bears on the run. Now loose ball, and Illinois State had it momentarily. Battle on the floor, and Ward going to chase it down for the Redbirds.
Opportunity to push ahead, maybe.
That's what they like to do. This is an up-tempo team. Ward with the catch in the lane and a foul on the Lady Bears. It's 38-15 Baylor over Illinois State as the number 2 seed is rolling early on here in Seattle. So their biggest lead of the game, but since 17-0, Illinois State has basically hung around. It's been a 6-point differential since then. What's been the difference? What's Illinois State been able to do differently, Mary?
Well, they're running their sets better. This out-of-bounds play, they try to set McCormick up, who's coming off the bench from getting a little bit of a rest, but I think so important for Illinois State to be productive in each offensive possession. Their 11 turnovers have translated into 15 Baylor points, and that just can't be when you're trying to beat Goliath.
Amber Shelton nowhere to go, gets it back to McCormick in a try-along 3, leaves it short off the rim. McCormick, though, tracks down the rebound, and then the miss out of the corner by Amber Shelton.
Much better job in transition. 3 Redbirds back.
Now Tisdale has it blocked on the way up by McCracken. Ward battling for the ball. Baylor comes out of there, though, with it. Tisdale, now Neiman's got it. Little baby hook on the baseline that rolls home. The first two for Emily Neiman.
How about Tisdale down amongst the trees, pulling the offensive rebound and keeping it alive for Baylor.
She is 5'5".
She was making her presence felt.
There's Jackie McCormick hitting her second three.
David, so important for Illinois State to take advantage of the minutes that she is on the floor. She's not feeling great, so when she's on the floor, get her shots.
They do it there, and they cut the lead back down to 22. Now Neiman, you cannot leave her open. She misses that one, though. Sandstead with the rebound, and here comes Illinois State on the run. McCracken with a three.
I love it. Run and gun. Doesn't matter if there's rebounders. If you have an open shot and you're in a red jersey, you got to take it.
They average better than 68 points per game, so this is a team that likes to score a bit. Tisdale trying to answer, cannot do it. Wabara, though, gets the rebound, and she gets fouled.
A shot by McCormick. You must step out on her. You can't use that three-point line. And then McCracken in transition, loves that left side, pull up, knocks it down. Nice little run by Illinois State.
Foul went on Katie Ward, her third, as Abiola Wabara goes to the line. And you want to talk about interesting stories. She basically fell into Kim Mulkey Robertson's lap. She was with her aunt, who had studied at the seminary at Baylor. They walked into the office one day, the two of them, and
can you imagine?
Basically the aunt said, "What do you think? She wants to play basketball for you." Wabara grew up in Italy. Her family, however, is from Nigeria. Now, Kim Mulkey Robertson was telling us she couldn't work her out, so she called a former teammate who had played a bit in Italy and said, "You know about this girl?" And she said, "Yeah, she's pretty good. You got to take her."
I love the story. And her teammate was Janet Lawrence Braxton, who fabulous post player for Louisiana Tech, was inside, Mulkey was outside, and what a combination they were. She said, "Yeah, you want her." Kim probably went in the other room, typed out the letter of intent on the spot.
Just amazing. I mean, when you combine that story with finding Sophia Young, it really, there's been a lot of hard work, but they have had fortune smile upon them at Baylor. Shot clock down to 14 as the jumper is no good there by LaToya Wyatt. And here come the Redbirds.
Boy, every possession where you don't give up a second and third shot's an accomplishment for Illinois State.
Now McCracken, McCormick. A jump step into the lane and a foul on the Lady Bears. Be sure to join Reese Davis, Lisa Leslie, Stacey Dale Schumann for the Singular Halftime Report. They'll catch you up on the day's NCAA Women's Championship action. All the scores and highlights, including Eastern Kentucky and Arizona State. Alcorn State taking on the #1 seed Michigan State, and also Rice and Georgia going at it in the Chattanooga Regional.
Taking advantage out of the out-of-bounds play, attack the basket. Nice quick score by Illinois State.
So they have cut it to 18 as we wind down under a minute. Neiman. Davis with the jumper. That doesn't go. And the rebound to Sophie Turtio, a Belgian, was checked in the game for ISU. They're on an 8-1 run as they turn it over right there. Katie Donovan had to go through her legs.
Right between the wickets. Boy, when you're on a run, things are really going well. That can really deflate you a little bit. Illinois State needs to maintain the focus.
I'll tell you what, since 17-0, it's a one-point game. And they have something that they can take in terms of a little momentum into the locker room.
Yeah, and if they can just tidy up on the turnovers and maybe the fouling and just make Baylor earn baskets, they'll be in much better shape in the second half.
On a 7-second differential here as Baylor works it around to Davis. Davis with 3 on the shot clock. She lets it go. That doesn't go. Rebound down in under, though, and an easy 2 for LaToya Wyatt.
Illinois State, great job of blocking weak side, but they just allowed that one in.
McCracken misses from half court, and that does it for the first half. 43-23. The #2 seed looking good. Baylor got off to a 17-0 start. They led it by as many as 25. It's 20 at the half. Just moments ago, Illinois State coach Robin Pinchton addressing her team.
Okay, ladies, my first question to you guys, are we fighting as hard as we can fight? Seriously, are we fighting as hard as we can fight right now? No, we're not. We're playing tentative. You can tell on offense, we're hesitant on our shots. We're not shooting it with confidence. Our turnovers, we've had some junior high turnovers. Valuing the ball, taking care of it. We're not going to out-jump people. Holly, we talked about this on the bench. You are not going to out-jump Baylor. There is no way. You got to find a body, drive them back, and go get it. We're not going to out-jump them. Ladies, I don't care what the score is right now. I don't even want you to pay attention to the score. I want us to go out in the second half and play Illinois State basketball the way we're capable of playing it. What we talked about in our conference tournament, that toughness mentally and physically. Not getting caught up in the calls or, you know, if somebody's pushing and shoving on you. No, playing tough mentally and physically.
Free throw attempts, 18-2. The rebounds, obviously a huge differential there. What's the one that jumps out at you the most?
Well, to me, the free throws have made a huge difference in this game, but that's Illinois State trying to be physical. But it's worked against them a little bit, but maybe they beat you at the free throw line, maybe they beat you with jump shots. Baylor just beat you in a lot of different ways.
Baylor's the 2 seed, Illinois State the 15 seed, just the 3rd team ever to make it into this tournament with a losing record. Baylor in the white, the Redbirds in the red, and they will have the ball after the Baylor turnover.
And Sophia Young, so confident in her ability to lob it in there over and in between the double team, just can't get it done. One of the few mistakes she's made here this afternoon.
We're in the Tempe region here in Seattle, Washington. The winner of this game gets the winner of TCU, Oregon, which will follow about a half hour after this one is done. Hericus loses it, now gets it back. Shot clock down to 10. McCracken. A turnaround on the way, and good by Hallstrom. 4 points now for Holly Hallstrom, who's been battling the flu.
That's what their coach talked about. Challenge, don't fade, challenge. And Hallstrom does a nice job of that coming out of the blocks.
In case you're just joining us, Holly Hallstrom battling the flu, as is the star player for Illinois State, Jackie McCormick. And going around, and now another turnover for Baylor. So 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for Kim Mulkey-Robertson's crew.
The turnovers because they're trying to force it inside. They love, and that's where they like to go, but working against them right now.
And there's Jackie McCormick, cannot get the roll. Sophia Young going for it on the floor. And it's going to be a foul on Illinois State. Let's get an update from Rob Stone.
Well, the main points of emphasis from the Baylor locker room, they want to continue to attack that zone and get their 2 big ladies more touches. Young, Blackman, they want more touches, more hoops, so they can get more minutes on the pine. Kim Mulkey-Robertson telling me she loved the fact that she get a lot of players some minutes the first half. She wants to continue with the second half so she can keep those legs fresh for the rest of the tournament.
Young and Blackman, 25 between them so far, Rob, as Blackman missed there. Donovan, this is Hericus, who just picked up her 3rd foul. Hits a little left-handed hook, and it's a 16-point game.
Great job, Keedall, by spacing Illinois State, doing a nice job. Now they need to continue it on the defensive end. And they're just saying, take the shot. Back in the paint.
Scott will take it, and she will hit it. 3rd 3 of the game for Shamika Scott, who now has 9.
You're daring a team that shoots 42% to take threes, Dave, but, you know, it's kind of choose your poison.
Yep, absolutely. Great team inside as well. Now a 2-on-1, but a poor pass. Whitaker does a nice job to save it, but she saves it to the Redbirds. Holly Hallstrom, and now McCormick.
Kim Mulkey, hands on hip. She is not pleased with what she's seeing so far.
Ball inside on Baylor's Stephanie Blackman as we go back to Rob.
A quick infirmary report from Southern Illinois on Holly Hallstrom and Jackie McCormick. The half, just 2 short guys for them to even try and get some IVs in them. So the focus, rest and plenty of fluids. Both all right, both playing.
Thanks, Rob. Another foul on the Bears. Lady Bears.
And you see a distinct difference in this Illinois State team. They're in attack mode. They're putting the ball on the floor, and they are going at the Baylor Lady Bears.
Foul went on Wabara. It's 46-27. Illinois State trying to hang around against the #2 the NCAA Women's Basketball Championships. And Mary Murphy, which one of those jumps out at you?
Well, that first set we saw, the games with the ACC, NC State, and UVA. ACC considered by many the top conference in the NCAA this year. What a job by North Carolina. They beat Duke 3 times. A phenomenal accomplishment.
Had been their nemesis for so long as the ball goes out of bounds off the hands of Wabara, so it will stay with the Redbirds and 14 to shoot.
I mean, Cameron had been just a fright house for them, and they come back this year and win there, and I really think it set the stage for them to have a tremendous run through the women's championship this year.
Of course, they're not alone in just struggling in Cameron.
Yeah.
The men's side or the women's side as McCormick is fouled on the way to the hoop. We are in the Tempe region. Again, Baylor and Illinois State, you see us there. We'll have TCU and Oregon next. Then the top of the bracket, Virginia and Old Dominion, and then a Final Four team last year, Minnesota, taking on St. Francis, which always makes it to the tourney, looking for that first ever, the breakthrough win.
And when you see Minnesota, you always think of Janelle McCarville, one of the premier posts. We're going to see one of the premier posts in Sandora Irvin. Certainly Oregon's got their share. We're seeing great posts in this game. This setting here in Seattle, great post play.
It really is. I mean, just a preponderance of really good big players.
A plethora, a preponderance, just many.
There's a lot of them, is what we're trying to say. 46-29, Illinois State is hanging around. They've cut the 20-point halftime deficit to, well, now down to 19 as Wabara hits on the way to the hole.
That's how you beat a zone. You try to get the ball reversed, and then you attack, find the seam. Baylor does a nice job.
Katie Donovan, now Heracus. Now this is Jackie McCormick.
Just exudes confidence with the ball in her hands.
Kraken. Gonna try a 3, and that doesn't go. Job battling for the board, though, by Hallstrom. Goes back up with it. 6 for Holly Hallstrom.
She's had a great start to the second half. Much, much more aggressive against the bigs of Baylor.
The pep talk from Robin Pinchton seems to have worked just a bit. Wabara, though, gets open down low, and 2 more for Abiola Wabara, who now has 9.
As good as Young and Blackman have been, she's just been sensational.
And she's almost an afterthought when you talk about their great post play. Nice interior passing, and it ends up in the hands of Katie Donovan.
Illinois State moving much, much better without the basketball. Teammates heads up, and they're finding the open player.
17-point game. They lob it down low to Wabara, and Abiola Wabara is having an unbelievable second half. She now has 11. She had 5 at the break, so 6 points for her in less than 5 minutes. It's 52-33, the #2 seed, rolling here in Seattle. Baylor by 19 here in Seattle, as we remind you, ESPN2's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship. Telecast presented by Avis continues tonight at 4 Eastern. You'll see either UC Santa Barbara taking on Notre Dame or Oregon meeting TCU. That game will be here in Seattle. It's all regional action. ESPN, your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. As Abiola Wabara goes to the line, Baylor 3 players in double figures in this game. Young, Wabara, and Blackman. Wabara misses that one, and the common denominator is they're all inside players, Mary.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Not a strength of Illinois State. They're much better in the perimeter, both offensively and defensively, and they just need to continue to try to shore that up. Illinois State's done a nice job of shoring up the turnovers, but the post presence of Baylor taken over.
Great job down low by Blackman to snare that rebound. As we get an update from Rob Stone.
Dave, a little fire and brimstone from Baylor head coach Kim Mulkey-Robertson during that last timeout. Her quotes, get some nastiness. I don't like your disposition. Get a little mean and put them away. Gotta love it.
Sounds like the way Kim played at La Tech. It's all about the fire and brimstone.
Foul on Michelle Heracus, her 4th. As Stephanie Blackman hits the free throw, she now has 13. Injured her knee last year in the Big 12 quarterfinals, so she had to sit out the NCAA tournament. You talk about all the disappointment last year with Baylor. Remember the heartbreaking, very controversial loss to Tennessee, which they have tried to put behind them. But I say you wonder how things might have been different if they had Stephanie Blackman in there.
Boy, you're not kidding. She is such a dynamite player, fundamentally sound. And when Kim Mulkey-Robertson, the coach of Baylor, talks about her, said she makes Sophia Young better because she helps teach her the game. And Sophia helps Stephanie because it makes her more athletic, makes her work harder.
Blackman is the daughter of a coach, so she is very well versed in the fundamentals. And we talked about Young really hadn't played the game at all until she was 15. McCracken misses badly. Here comes Baylor. It's Chelsea Whitaker. Nice bounce pass in transition. And Sophia Young gets the hoop.
That's the definition of threading the needle. There was one shot at it. Whitaker, great look.
Hallstrom has it blocked on the way up, but gets it back. And now there's the athleticism of Young going for the ball on the floor. And they're going to say it's going to go to Baylor as Illinois State had it out of bounds. NCAA Women's Championship, our telecast presented by Avis. We're the Tempe Regional. Illinois State, the 15 seed, against Baylor, the 2 seed. Illinois State in the red, Baylor in the white. Dave Revson alongside former Wisconsin coach Mary Murphy. Rob Stone is with us as well. Baylor on a 7-2 run, and they've shot the ball much better, and they've gotten much higher percentage shots as well.
Yeah, they really have, and the perimeter folks have done a nice job of finding the post players. They're moving well without the basketball, and yet Kim Mulkey-Robertson wants them turning it up against this Illinois State team that has really come out and played gamely in the second half.
Walk there called on Katie Donovan. Baylor just 3 of 11 from behind the arc, and this is the second best three-point shooting team in the country. The damage has been done inside, and then as you take a look there at Jackie McCormick, that's been a big issue for Illinois State as well. They have a couple players battling the flu, Jackie McCormick and Holly Hallstrom. McCormick came out right before the game, barely warmed up at all, has certainly done fine, but hasn't been able to have the impact that certainly Illinois State hoped she would.
Well, she arrived with 10 minutes left on the clock before the game started. I think she took 2 or 3 shots, and that was about it as they continue to shred the inside of this Redbird zone. And you know, not a whole lot of options if you're Illinois State. Do you go man-to-man? Probably not a great option for them. They've just got to try to pack it in and take away passing lanes.
17 now for Young. This is Jackie McCormick. Nice little scoop by McCormick. She's down to double figures. A Native American of the Nez Perce tribe. 75 friends and families made the 6-hour or so drive from Idaho. The foul down low on the Redbirds.
McCormick, just the definition of a scorer. She can take you off the dribble. She can hit the 3. Just dynamite. The attack. And I mean, Baylor, Scott's playing some good defense, and she's able to just turn the corner enough. A little hoopy scoopy, a little horse shot.
There is her fan club. Drove about 6 hours to get here, Rob Stone. Rob?
Basketball, Dave, an integral part of life for the Nez Perce Nation, but they play with a different flair and attitude. It's called res ball, as in reservation, run and gun style, no play calling, basically, you know, what every person would want to play, except, of course, for coaches. Obviously made for some turbulent transition times for Jackie, but as you can see, she's adjusting just fine, thank you.
That's interesting you say that, because we were talking yesterday with Robin Pinchton as there's a foul out top on Wabara. And she was talking about her first meeting with Jackie McCormick, and she said she just thought Jackie was far too laid back. Pinchton said that Jackie told her, you know, I really only think, even though she had 2 years of eligibility left, I don't really think my body's going to be able to handle 1 more year. And Pinchton didn't really have a very positive impression of her, and she basically said, oh, okay, you know, that's fine. If you can only make it 1 more year, that's fine. Just do what you do. And when she left the office, Pinchton said that kid's not going to last more than 2 weeks.
2 weeks she gave her, and
yeah.
She said she'd be off the team. She'd write her own ticket, and here she is. Just goes to show you what great leadership and just believing in a kid and just bringing him along can do.
She hit the shot that got them into the NCAA tournament. Amber Shelton hitting that shot. It was interesting in talking to McCormick yesterday. She had basically the same recollection of the meeting. Obviously, she didn't know what Robin Pinchton was thinking or saying as she walked out of the office. But she said, you know, I didn't really think we saw eye to eye either as Sophia Young hits inside. But she did say, you know what, I understood where she was coming from. I understood I was going to have to work harder, and I bought into the system. I told myself I wanted to make it through this, and I committed myself to it. I wanted to make it, and she has, to her credit. LaShawn Johnson hitting the turnaround there.
Robin said she knew she had her when she actually gave her cell phone number. That's when she knew they had a connection. She was very picky about who she gave it to.
So it's Baylor on top 61-39. They've led throughout. They led it 17-0 in this game. Illinois State has fought valiantly. They've never let it get totally out of hand, but haven't really been able to get back in it either. Scott rolls home the three.
Well, you know, they weren't going to stay cold from the perimeter this entire game. They're just too good, and that was a tough shot by Scott.
Donovan trying to get to the hoop. Now LaShawn Johnson.
Making some nice cuts through the paint, more of a continuity. They're not looking for quick hits. Good recognition of the mismatch.
6 now for LaShawn Johnson, a freshman out of Chicago.
Right now, Baylor running a clinic on how to get the ball in the post and how to be productive.
And the three-point shots really haven't gone for them, with the exception of Scott, as Johnson fouls Young. It's going to be number 4 on LaShawn Johnson, as Shamika Scott has done a good job behind the arc. She's 4 of 5. So that Rice 12-game winning streak will come to an end. Here it's a 14-game winning streak for Baylor, and certainly see no signs of it ending here today, as they have handled Illinois State throughout.
They really have, and they've played up-tempo in the first half, taking advantage of turnovers, getting to the free throw line. Second half, it's been about post domination, attacking a zone in textbook fashion, getting to gaps, using the baseline, and post with great hands and great instincts.
Sophia Young hitting both free throws. Speaking of both, she's all the entire package. Game high 21.
And Dave, to think that she's only been playing organized basketball for 5 years, it's astounding the instinct with which she plays the game. I mean, you can coach a kid for 10 years and they don't do the things that she does. I mean, from a technical standpoint.
This play right there as McCormick got it to Johnson, but she was unable to finish. Now Baylor coming the other way. This is Jordan Davis. Now the jumper by Wyatt is good.
We were commenting that they were so tough from beyond the arc, but dry in the first half. Well, the lid is open from beyond the arc here in the second.
9 of 11 from the field in the second half. Jackie McCormick fouled on the way to the hoop as we take a look at what Sophia Young does so well.
Motioning to her perimeter people, the cut to the gap, right where you want to be. The release down the lane, takes the contact, puts it in. Great hands, great instincts, and her teammates know how to find her. It's a wonderful combination.
21 points. You see she has done a lot of damage at the line as well today. So McCormick now has 11.
And McCormick just playing her guts out in this basketball game, and we didn't even know if she was going to play, let alone start, and she's come out and been a real gamer.
Cuts it back to 26. Had been a 28-point lead, which was the biggest lead of the game for the Lady Bears.
McCormick came down with the flu before the game. Her teammate Hallstrom sick up until about 8 o'clock last night, and they've been battling all game long.
Certainly no one expected them to be here as Wyatt hits the pull-up. This is a team that won 3 straight games in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament in a span of 45 hours, all against teams that have won 20 games to get themselves into the tourney. Just the 3rd team ever to make it with a losing record. Drive by Donovan, she can't get it to go, and here comes Baylor the other way. And they nearly turn it over and battle for it inside. It rolls out of bounds, and it's going to go to Illinois State. For live stats, game recaps from all rounds of the championship, go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships.
We saw Stephanie Young go out, and now, or Sophia Young, and now Stephanie Blackman out of the ball game.
McCormick fouled on the way up, so she will go back to the stripe. Foul goes on Jordan Davis, her second. Monique Jones, number 1, is in there as well for Baylor. First time we have seen her in the second half. Again, Jackie McCormick, unbelievable star from a very young age, was her classification's Idaho Player of the Year as a high school freshman. She told you her life changing very dramatically the summer before her junior year. She had some acquaintances who were in a car, were driving away from the reservation in a nearby town, Clarkston, Washington. And a 12-year-old boy ended up dying in a confrontation with some of these acquaintances of McCormick. She was appalled when no one came forward in the case, confronted her friends who had been in the car, and when they didn't do anything, she basically went to the police, and 2 of the boys in the case ended up in prison. And McCormick felt kind of shunned on the reservation, ended up leaving and living with some relatives in Oregon and having a brilliant high school career.
She was the most outstanding player in the State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Tournament.
And she now has 17 despite the flu.
And if you're going to go out firing. And they stay just trying to pack in that zone. Now they're extending a little more out to those three-point shooters.
Wabara, nice move to the hoop.
It's like Sophia who's on the bench? I mean, it doesn't matter. Wabara is just outstanding finding gaps and finding her way to the basket.
Down under 10 minutes of the game, Illinois State and Baylor. Baylor, the number 2 seed in Tempe, but there are many people who feel this is a Final Four team, including the person sitting right next to me.
I really do, and I don't call them a 2 seed, I call them a 1.5 seed. It reminded me of last year when UConn got a 2 seed to Penn State's 1, and UConn really was like a 1.5. There were 6 teams deserving of a number 1 seed, Stanford the other that didn't get it. They're a 1.5 too, but it doesn't much matter. They're in the bracket, and they are going to have an excellent shot at it.
Kim Mulkey-Robertson said, you know what, we're not disappointed with our seed. She did say we are disappointed with where we ended up. They did not get a chance to bring many fans here. Obviously, we're a long way from Waco, Texas. The ball's knocked out of bounds there by Turtio. Said we just felt like we deserved, with everything we did this year, you win the regular season in the Big 12, and you win the postseason tournament. She said they felt like they deserved to be closer to home.
Well, the thing that I like, the way she put it, was our fans were not rewarded, and we knew that Neiman wasn't going to last the whole game without knocking down a 3. She shoots 50% from out there, but this is a Baylor team that sold out for the first time in their game against Texas Tech when they secured the regular season championship outright. They won in Lubbock for the first time ever.
You take a look at Jackie McCormick there, and been battling the flu, as we told you, and obviously feeling the effects right now. She's exceeded her season average and really has played remarkably well.
I'm not sure what more she could do. She's put it on the floor and created. She's knocked down shots. Talking about knocking down shots. They're raining 3s in Seattle.
That was Jordan Davis, junior out of Salina, Texas, hitting the 3.
Makes this Baylor team so dynamic. Everyone knows their roles, really embraces them, and do what you can do.
Steal inside by Hallstrom. Here comes Illinois State. Ashley Sandstead. They get it into the hands of McCracken. A 3 on the way, no good by Donovan. Turtio going for the board, but it goes out of bounds, and it will go to Baylor. So Jackie McCormick is given everything she could. 17 points for her, but the deficit is over. Very talented, very young Georgia team. A lot of talent on this Baylor squad as well, and a frustrating day for Jackie McCormick as she continues to battle the flu. She has battled valiantly. 17 points for the top player for Illinois State, but the deficit is 31 against second seed Baylor as Emily Neiman gets fouled on the way up. Let's go to Rob Stone for an update.
Yeah, we'll update Jackie McCormick. You know, last time we saw her, she was laying on her back at the end of the bench. She's fine. She's been subbing herself out all game. She just came up to the trainer and said, "Can I lay down?" And trainer, you know, what are you going to say? No?
All right, Rob, thank you. Neiman hits the free throw. Cannot say enough about the effort from Jackie McCormick, and just what an impressive young woman she is. Had a chance to visit with her yesterday and came away very impressed. She will be very successful. As I said, a sociology major, wants to work with Native American children. Neiman hits both free throws.
You know, you come into a setting like this dreaming of the big upset in front of your home fans and sort of where you grew up, but just a valiant effort, not feeling well and asking permission to lay down, because I might fall down if I don't.
As Rob said, what are you going to say? I like that. Now off the miss. Baylor coming the other way, Latoya Wyatt.
It's been valuable for Baylor as well. The younger players getting the opportunity to come in to an NCAA game and get some early experience, get the butterflies out of their system so that they'll be ready when Kim Mulkey-Robertson calls on them as they continue down this road.
Baylor on a 10-0 run. Ashley Sandstedt trying to end that. She rolls one home.
They do a very nice job in that pick and roll, pick and pop situation, creating space and finding open shots. And I'm sure when Baylor looks at tape, that's one of the things they're going to look at.
The shooting percentage for Baylor, they've gotten so many of their shots down and under. They are doing better from three-point range, though, up to 7 of 15 after a very slow start. Second best in the nation, and let's see if they can add to that. No, Jordan Davis misses it. And here comes Donovan on the run for Illinois State. McCracken leaves it short. She gets it back, though. Sandstedt has it now for the Redbirds.
Nobody acting like this is the 31-point game. People on the floor, every possession important.
Sandstedt misses. It's going to go to Baylor. Can't help but to be impressed with Baylor. Kim Mulkey-Robertson doing a tremendous job. Just her 5th season. I mean, the thing that jumps out at me, they had never been to the NCAA tournament before she got there, and now 4th trip in 5 years.
Well, they've never been is the start of like every sentence that has to do with Baylor women's basketball and the things that she has accomplished in such a short, and 5 years really is a short amount of time, is just inspiring. And you just love the story of how she got the job, what she's done with the job, and how her family's been embraced in Waco, Texas.
What a beautiful transition there by the Redbirds. Michelle Herricus finishes it off with the layup. And the assumption had been that she would take over at Louisiana Tech, but when Leon Barmore said he was going to hang it up as Melanie Hammerly hits, there was a bit of an issue because they wouldn't give her a 5-year contract.
It's a simple story. She wanted 5 years because that's what most coaches get, and they offered 4. They wouldn't budge off of it, and she said, see ya. And boy, what a decision she made, and the folks in Waco have to be forever happy.
They're quite grateful. Reach in there on Monique Jones, and there you see the brilliant career, both as a player and a coach for Kim Mulkey-Robertson.
And she'll tell you, I'm from Louisiana. I love Louisiana Tech University. She played there. She coached there for 15 years. She just was in shock that she wasn't going to spend the rest of her life there. But, you know, when given lemons, you make lemonade, and they got a very sweet lemonade going on in Waco.
Hallstrom hits the free throw. She inherited a 7-20 team. Took them to the tourney for her first year since she has taken over. Baylor, more wins than any other Big 12 program. 4 more than Texas, 5 more than Texas Tech and Oklahoma. That is staggering when you consider, I mean, the head start that those programs had on Baylor is, you can't even put it into words.
And what's staggering is, Dave, they haven't done it with parade All-Americans. They haven't done it with the usual route. I mean, Texas has so many great players, and Marcia Sharp's gone to California, and she's pulled some players in. And they've just done it with finding unique players, and they've gotten lucky, no doubt about it. But, boy, they have turned it into something very, very special.
LaToya Wyatt now into double figures with 10. You're right. I mean, it's not as if, obviously, it's a brief period of time, but it's not as if those other 2 programs have been slumping during this time.
Well, and how about Oklahoma during that period of time? K-State, Iowa State, Nebraska has elevated their program with Connie Uri. You know, up and down. Texas A&M is going to start making a move with Gary Blair. I mean, this is a torturous conference to be a coach. I mean, it's exciting and you get paid well, but my goodness sakes, the competition for players and for victories, and Kim Mulkey-Robertson at the top of the heap. It's astounding.
Katie Donovan at the line hits. There is Kim Mulkey-Robertson, the only female listed among the top 25 athletes in Louisiana in the 20th century. That says something right there. I mean, that's amazing. Top 25 athletes in the whole century in the state. The only woman on the list. The woman on the bench now for the Baylor Lady Bears.
Well, if you were a point guard, you wanted to play like somebody, you wanted to play like Kim. I mean, it was just every game, guts out, just get out there, get on the floor, and make it happen. And she had a lot to do with La Tech being as great as they were, as long as they were.
Sandstedt trying to bring it the other way. Battle for the loose ball, and the foul is going to go against LaToya Wyatt. So a 30-point lead for Baylor, 86-56, as they have kind of blown it open here in the second half. Illinois State hung around a bit after being down 17-0. They battled back in this game, but the talent of Baylor has just taken over. They've been dominant inside.
Well, Baylor's only had 3 losses this season. They lost to LSU in the very first game of the season, 71-70. They lose at Nebraska in triple overtime to a vastly improved Nebraska team. And then they lose at Texas. You know, losing at Texas, not a problem. A lot of people go to Texas and lose as well. So a sensational season.
Looks like Baylor will move on to face the winner of TCU and Oregon, which is going to get underway, I should say, a half hour after we're done here in Seattle.
And either one of those represent a very intriguing matchup for Baylor. Many bigs on both teams.
As you mentioned in the first half, Mary, we have an abundance of great post players here. And we will see a few of them in the next game, including the great Sandora Irvin from TCU. Career block shots leader. So look at the bracket. Again, Baylor, looks like they're going to move on. TCU, Oregon winner will await them. Virginia, Old Dominion, Minnesota, and St. Francis of PA will both play tonight.
We have seen so many upsets in the last couple of days on the men's side of things, where the 12, the 13, the 14. Oregon at a 10 is a very good basketball team, and I think that the quality of the women's programs down towards the 10, you're still going to get a very competitive team that could make a mark in this tournament.
We've certainly seen great increase in parity in this game, and the last 5-6 years, as Wyatt has been red hot here in the second half. 13 now for LaToya Wyatt. She has a new career high.
It's amazing how cold they were in the first half from the three-point range. In the second half, they've been sizzling.
So LaToya Wyatt, the sophomore out of Fort Worth, a junior college transfer, getting it done for Baylor. They're on top 89-58. Also in the Tempe Regional here, Reese, it's Illinois State, the 15 seed, and the 2nd seed Baylor. It has been all Lady Bears in this game. They are in the white, Illinois State in the red. Dave Revson with Mary Murphy and Rob Stone, and Baylor went out 17-0 in this game. They have not looked back. They've played extremely well recently on the perimeter, but boy, the story of the game was inside, Mary.
It really was. Sophia Young, Stephanie Blackman doing a sensational job, and really so much emphasis there that in the second half, Baylor able to stretch it out a little bit. 7 of 10 from three-point range in the second half for the Baylor Lady Bears, and rest and relaxation on the bench.
All smiles. 5 players in double figures for them. Shamika Scott, Sophia Young, Abiola Wabara, and Stephanie Blackman, 4 of their starters, and then LaToya Wyatt in double figures as well. For Illinois State, you got to hand it to Jackie McCormick. This game is, for all intents and purposes, over. She has been battling the flu all day, and yet she is back out on the floor after she was laying down on the floor just a few moments ago.
And I think you have to also hand it to the Illinois State coach, Robin Pinchton, who just in her second year, her first NCAA appearance, and she comes face to face with 2 of her better players being sick, and the adjustments you have to make and how you have to keep your team focused. She's done a very nice job, assistant for Bill Fennelly, and she is one of the rising stars in women's basketball. Really has done a very solid job this year, leading them through the Missouri Valley tournament and into the NCAAs.
Future certainly bright for Illinois State as they turn it over there. You have 3 seniors in the starting lineup. They'll lose McCormick, Donovan, Heracus, but a lot of good young players. And one thing she told us is she's really started to recruit the state of Illinois as Melanie Hammerly hits on the baseline. When she got there was 1 player from Illinois on the Illinois State roster. Now that's just mind-boggling because Illinois State is Illinois is a hoops hotbed.
It actually is. Whether it's the middle of the state, whether it's the Quad Cities area, Chicago, or Southern Illinois, there's plenty of talent in the state to fuel this program. I was talking to Jill Hutchison, longtime coach, who actually recruited, tried to get me to go to Illinois State, and she said, yeah, it was just hard to believe that we didn't have more Illinois players. They're going to go back that direction, and Robin is going to do a sensational job there, and Illinois State's going to have their hands full keeping her there. You know, everyone likes the Mark Few syndrome. When you get a great one at the mid-majors, you got to do everything you can to keep them there.
Tough loss for the Zags. Mark Few today, Texas Tech, as we look at Jackie McCormick, who It really is struggling. I'm amazed she's still out there. It really speaks volumes about her.
I think she's going to be checking out here shortly.
20. For Jackie McCormick.
We talked a little before the game about Willis Reed, and when he came out, that's what Jackie McCormick did. She was hurt big time, and she came out and put on a show. You know, Dave, I've really been impressed with Baylor, able to maintain their discipline in a game that when it approaches blowout proportions, it's easy for things to start, you know, falling apart. People start just getting up and down the floor. You get sloppy defensively, and you just don't execute. That has not been the case. You know, Coach Mulkey Robertson has taken timeouts to get her team refocused, and I really think they've done a nice job of that.
On the other end, it's Tiffany Hudson, who played high school ball with Tennessee's Candace Parker, missing the layup there. And the Lady Bears just throw one to no one in particular. Monique Jones saying, my bad, as we take a look at our Diet Coke player of the game, Sophia Young, 21 points and 6 rebounds for the native of St. Vincent in the West Indies.
All of that in 20 minutes of play. That's productivity.
Very impressive post performance by Baylor, particularly in the first half. Their post players just dominated this game. Sandstead hitting the layup for Illinois State. As you spin this forward a little bit, Mary, you've seen this team now in their NCAA tournament. This is what they're going to look like. What are your thoughts on how far Baylor can get?
I really believe they can take it all the way. I mean, obviously, they have to continue to shoot well, stay healthy, and all that. But I think they're extremely well coached. They've got their bench showed up today and played very, very well. And I think the key for Baylor is going to be bench play, because the consistency of the starters is remarkable.
What's it going to take for someone to beat them then?
I think if you can get the bigs in early foul trouble, take it inside and get them sitting for significant stretches of time, that would certainly help. But it's like Kim talked about yesterday, Dave. The ability of Blackman and Young to adjust to whatever defense teams play and work off each other is what makes them so difficult to defend.
I'll tell you, Wabara had a good game too with 15.
I love her game.
You know, she almost is an afterthought because of how good the other two are. But man, I mean, that is a great triumvirate there inside.
It's amazing, and their ability to drive the baseline and create, you just don't see that very often.
Victoria Jones, 13 in the game for Baylor. First time we've seen her. This is Victoria, and she gets called for the walk. It's a freshman out of San Marcos, Texas.
She's getting a little anxious to make something happen in her minutes.
There's a three by Catherine Graham.
You're a gunning team, Dave. Just keep gunning it to the end.
Seconds winding down here, and it's going to be a win for Baylor in impressive fashion. So they will await the winner of TCU and Oregon. Illinois State, the third team ever to make it to the tourney with a losing record. Certainly played valiantly. They were battling insurmountable odds, particularly given the fact that they had all the health problems with the intestinal flu going around the team.
We saw them in their locker room at halftime, and I believe they came out in the second half and responded to the message that their coach put out there, and that is, let's battle. We've got nothing left to lose. Just get out there. I don't care. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just play.
They will be heard from again in the Missouri Valley. 4 freshmen on the court for them right now, so this is kind of the future of the team. And as we were talking about, all 4 of the freshmen on the court are from the state of Illinois.
And that's how they will build their future. Beautiful facility down there.
But this one goes to the Baylor Bears. The number 2 seed, Kim Mulkey Robertson's crew, very impressive here in their opener in Seattle as Baylor wins it 91-70. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and your home for the NCAA Women's Championship. With Mary Murphy and Rob Stone, I'm Dave Revson. So long from Seattle. Let's go to Reese Davis.